What do we got?
You know, I'm going to New York City.
You read the email last week. What do we got?
Well, she said she was working in a bar in Manhattan, right? Or what was it? The Upper East Side or something.
Upper
like
East
that,
Side, yeah.
Well, I think that's Manhattan. I'm not familiar with New York City, but whatever. I think that's where. We'll see what happens, baby. We'll see what happens next Saturday. See if we can't hook up with a little
That's
cutie.
Ryan's girl, man. People don't know.
Right.
That's Ryan's girl right there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. All right, so opening match at No Surrender, Taylor Wilde and Sarita versus the Beautiful People, Velvet Sky and Madison Rayne. This one ended. Sarita hit a drop kick on Rayne. Wilde hits a German suplex. You can tell I'm reading, right? Hits a German suplex into a bridge and got the pinfall. Well, Mike Tenay on commentary acknowledged that Angelina Love had parted ways due to some visa issues. They did acknowledge that on commentary.
But it's the future endeavors and the whole thing, yeah.
Well, from what I'm told, they're still trying to work things out, and she was
backstage.
Florida, you know?
She was backstage at the last show, right?
Right. Well, last night she was. I don't know if she was backstage, but she was definitely in Florida. And then after the tapings last night, met up with some of the guys and girls backstage. But yeah, I don't know. She's still in Florida, which is kind of surprising. You know,
that would mean she's there illegally, right?
Well, there must be more to the story that we don't know if she's still in the United States. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, according to TNA, she's not even supposed to be here. Well, I don't. You know what? Maybe I take that back because I don't know if she can live here. She just can't work.
I don't think she can work. Yeah, I don't think she doesn't have a work visa. She doesn't have a work visa, so I don't think she can work. She's not allowed to be employed, like with an active contract or something. I think. I don't know how none of that shit works, but either way, it's weird that she's right there and she can't appear on the TV camera in front of the I don't know how that works, but I don't see why they can't patch it and fix that up. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you know, I think it's she's got to have the proper paperwork in order to be able to make money.
Yeah, but as much money's involved there, you would think, and as big as TNA's not a huge company, but it's a pretty. I mean, if we work for TNA, that's a big company. I mean, if they needed something, if we're an active performer and we're integral to the TV show and the pay-per-view and the characters and a group like the Beautiful People. You would think if it was just some paperwork standing in the way, they would be able to iron that out. Even if it took a little, a couple weeks, they would figure it out. They wouldn't just fire her. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think she's been working illegally with them for so long. Where if they
isn't that their fault though? I mean, they can't. They aren't. I mean, as a company, shouldn't they step up and be like, all right, let's handle this?
There's major heat on Terry Taylor for that right now backstage in TNA, who handles bookings and things of that nature. So we're going to actually put up a story on the website here in the coming weeks about that, or in the coming days, probably tomorrow or Thursday. But there's definitely heat on him backstage for the way that whole thing went down. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, I know they're still trying to work things out. We'll
I don't like stupid people. I got to tell you, I like beautiful people. I don't like stupid people. I don't like them.
That was good. That was good.
How could you be such a dumb person that could just go on right underneath you and you don't even realize, hey, this chick's about to have to be fired if you can't. How does that get by you? I don't understand it.
And not only that, but I mean, Jesus, man, she was their top, probably their
she was a big deal.
Yeah, oh, without a doubt. I mean, Beautiful People on a weekly basis. I mean, Jesus, they actually won the tag team tournament to go on to No Surrender to face Taylor Wilde and Sarita for the titles. You know what I mean? So they had plans to push them. You know,
they were probably supposed to win the TNA Knockout Tag titles that debuted at the pay-per-view. That was probably for them, and now they had to change it because of that.
We next match at No Surrender was Eric Young versus Hernandez. This was just a squash. Hernandez came out. Eric Young did a segment backstage where he said he wasn't going to fight back. He's just going to go out there and try to show his loyalty. Basically, the storyline is the World Elite, which Eric Young is in charge of, wanted Hernandez to come and join their group. Homicide is now a part of their group. So they wanted Hernandez in there as well. Eric Young said he wasn't going to fight back to show his loyalty and showed that, he was serious about wanting Hernandez to join. Hernandez came out, squashed him, obviously, during the main event. came in, and that was stupid. We'll get to it here in just a minute, but came out and cast in his briefcase for a world title shot, TNA world title shot. So that was just a squash. Hernandez took that one. Samoa Joe versus Daniels, but the X Division title was up next. You all right there, Boom?
They had a briefcase for a title shot exactly like they couldn't have like a contract for a title shot instead, or a belt or a ring for a title shot. It had to be a briefcase.
Well, they do the...
That is pathetic.
They do a match every year where there's four guys. Four guys get briefcases. One is for like what is it, Feast or Fired, I believe is what it's called, where there's four briefcases. One is for like an X Division title shot, one's for a world title shot, one's you're fired, and the other's for another title shot.
Yeah, but was this after Money in the Bank was invented or before?
Yeah, Money in the Bank was invented what?
There you go.
Yeah, it had to be after.
They couldn't be like four contracts instead of four briefcases? I mean, Jesus Christ, that's pretty pathetic. I mean, that's not original at all. What are we doing here?
I know.
A briefcase, so you walk... I seen him at a pay-per-view recently. He came out with the briefcase, and I didn't know what it meant, and...
Well, he came out at this pay-per-view, too, with the briefcase.
Yeah. I knew that one because they talked about it.
Gave it to the ref. Yeah, so... We had Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels. I expected more from these guys, just because I watched... I mean, remember when they were doing Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles and Samoa Joe versus Daniels a couple years ago back in TNA? And, I mean, those matches were just off the chart. I don't know. This one just didn't have it. You know what I mean? Didn't have... Was
it because Joe's fat now? I mean, even more fat, or
I think Joe works a slower style now due to injury.
Yeah. Due to fat. I mean, he probably doesn't have as good conditioning anymore. I mean, that does make a difference. You got to run the ropes, you got to run around, you get tired quicker. If you're fat, you get tired quicker. No, right?
Of course, right?
Yeah.
So we Samoa Joe, still X Division champion, and there's supposed to be a match. They taped it last night at Impact. I believe it's Samoa Joe versus Christopher Daniels versus Homicide. Nice. So, I mean, the three of those guys should tear down the house. I haven't heard any rave reviews or anything like that. Well, I believe they shot that last night at the Impact.
Mathematically, Homicide could be working with Daniels while Samoa Joe catches his fat-ass breath on the outside or something, and it would still keep going, It would be a good match.
Well, yeah, baby. We'll see what happens on Impact. This one, Falls Count Anywhere. The Pope, D'Angelo De Niro, who's otherwise known as Elijah Burke in WWE, against Suicide. Falls Count Anywhere.
That was good.
It was good, but there was no hype. It was just a last-minute type thing,
But still, I mean, as far as what you saw, I mean, it was all over. It was good. I mean, it was crazy. It was nice.
You know what the best part of the TNA pay-per-view was Taz on commentary, who was just hilarious all night long.
I mean, I didn't even realize it at the beginning. I mean, because I haven't seen a show that he's announced yet. He didn't work the last pay-per-view, right? He's only done Impact since then. So this is the first time I've heard him, because I don't follow TNA enough to watch the TV, But the pay-per-view, hearing him on there, I mean, it was I would say seamless. I mean, he fit right in there, and it felt all right to me. I liked it. Tenay and Taz, I can dig it.
Taz was, awesome on commentary. Throughout the entire pay-per-view, lots of jokes. They had, Foley was out there. You may have cut it off by this point. It was 9
to 9:30, I believe. I had to tune out. I thought it was 10 to 10:30, but it was 9 to 9:30 or 9:30 to 10, one or the other. That was correct.
Yeah, they had Mick Foley out there at one point where they were saying, it's such a relief to be here at TNA where people aren't screaming in our headsets, da-da-da-da-da-da, totally out of WWE, which was kind of funny. But the De Niro Suicide match, they used all the weapons. It ended with Suicide. Well, they used a golf cart during this one. Taz was great. Taz kept saying something about a redheaded referee, which was hilarious. I mean, the digs that he kept taking at that referee were great all night long. And it wasn't just a one-time thing. I mean, it was like every match. I think he did it in Lethal Lockdown as well, where the guy was opening up the cage door. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was...
Call him Opie or something like that?
Yeah, probably. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was something... I mean, it was good. Taz was great, man. But we used the golf cart in this one, and then Suicide went on top of the ramp and got on top of... set up a table and came off the top of the tunnel that they used to come out, I believe it was. and came off the leg drop, and De Niro that went up and came off the top, right? Wasn't it?
Dude. Don't ask me.
All right. Oh, no, you know what else?
He won.
Suicide went on top of the tunnel and had Elijah Burke on the table. Elijah Burke rolled off the table. Why am I calling him Elijah Burke? But he rolled off the De Niro rolled off the table. Suicide went through it, and Elijah Burke did it again.
At breaking point.
That's a bad TNA breaking point, right? We had Knockouts title, ODB versus Cody Deaner. You know, my fear going into this one is, I mean, the Knockouts division is awesome. Kills the Diva division over in WWE.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But this match is kind of like Chavo and Hornswoggle, right? On the TNA page. It
was actually good. It was actually good. They had a lot of comedy spots, but it wasn't overdone. You know what I mean? And my fear going into it was, oh, shit, we're going to have Cody Deaner coming out as TNA Knockouts champion.
With a mullet.
Yeah, and what does that do? I mean, what does that say about the Knockout division? But obviously that didn't happen, and ODP was able to get this one. So we've got at least we've got a woman. Maybe not. You know what I mean? ODP is could go either way. I shouldn't say that, or whatever.
That's not nice. It's not polite.
It wasn't polite, or whatever.
Picture she's listening right now. She's sitting there eating some Starburst or something, drinking a cola, and she hears that. Well, that's not good.
Well, let's hope she's not listening. Hey, by the way, I got to say thank you again to the No Surrender pay-per-view, WrestlingStreams.net. What's his name?
I was going to do that for UFC 103, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You got the UFC. WrestlingStreams.net, guys. We plugged it last week. I'm going to give him a nice plug again this week. You pay a small fee, and he hooks you up with a great, great stream. Hopefully WWE and TNA aren't listening right now, but if you go pay and just pay a small fee, you get a great...
Couple dollars. It's a great stream, and it'll never, ever crash on you. It's crystal clear. It's perfect. It's very cheap. It's more than worth it. WrestlingStreams.net. Any pay-per-view, WWE, TNA, UFC, anything on pay-per-view you want. He's got it, and it works.
That's all that needs to be said. Abyss versus Kevin Nash. It was a $50,000 bounty versus the TNA Legends title. Yeah. Kevin Nash won this one. After it was over, Nash or Stevie Richards, who was behind it, didn't want to give. Yeah, Dr. Stevie didn't want to give the money up. Nash at one point used a taser on Abyss.
Didn't he hit him in the nuts with it?
Yeah. Came underneath him and hit the taser, a nut taser, whatever you want to call it. And then after it was over, Dr. Stevie took the bag of money, tried to get away. Nash powerbombed him, took the money, and that was that.
Now, didn't I read that going forward at the Impact tapings, are they starting something with Abyss and Mick Foley now?
They are. They shot an angle. I believe that's going to take place at Bound for Glory, which is their big WrestleMania pay-per-view. Yeah. That's the next one. I believe it's, I want to say October 20th. Nah, because No Surrender was the 20th of September. It's October something, maybe the 18th, 19th, somewhere around there. But so I believe they're going to do that there. Abyss versus Mick Foley, probably have weapons,
18,
packs, whatever. Just a hardcore match at Bound for Glory. That's the one that everybody wants to see. You know what I mean? I mean, who wouldn't? Abyss versus Foley, two guys that have similar gimmicks. You know, with the